Okay, folks, those of you who follow us on Twitter will have been eagerly awaiting our mystery guest this week. As we said, this week we're taking the show international, and we're very, very grateful and proud to welcome Mr. Garry Bagnell.
Hey, thank you.
Here we go. Okay. Those of you who do not know, Garry is one of the UK's premier Twitchers. He's a legend in the twitching game, and he's known throughout the United Kingdom and Ireland. And we'll start this episode as we do every episode that we have a guest, and we say thank you very, very much, and thank you sincerely for coming on, Garry. It is greatly appreciated. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Good stuff. Okay, so with a bit of a break from tradition, we're not going to get straight into grilling Garry just yet. We're going to kind of have a minute or two discussion about what has been the November from hell for Irish birders. For those of you watching from abroad, you may not be familiar with the situation that is the full lockdown in Ireland, and the fact that some absolutely, I think Brian put it best, they're not once in a generation, they're once in a lifetime birds. Some incredibly rare birds have turned up, and they are seriously frustrating Irish twitchers at present. We've had a lesser kestrel in County Clare, we've had a little swift today, and we've had a pine bunting, and we've had a belted kingfisher as well, folks, in County Cork, which I don't know, that was the one I really most wanted to see. Yeah. So I don't know why I forgot that.
There was lesser kestrel. Did you say lesser kestrel?
You said lesser kestrel, yeah. The kingfisher is the one I most wanted to see, and I forgot it.
It's going to be a November to remember.
Oh Jesus, Peter, it's tough. It's really, really tough. And I think I can speak for every twitcher outside of Cork and outside of Kildare and outside of Clare at the minute when I say this really sucks. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to see those birds and not be fit to go. But I'm sure you can relate to that, Garry. I think these are going into lockdown restrictions maybe tomorrow or the next day.
No, we're in lockdown now.
You're in lockdown
now. We're actually locked up for a whole month. I think it ends on about the 3rd of December.
Oh.
So, or 1st of December. I'm not really too sure, but you know. It hasn't changed much in Britain. We can still go, to the coast. We can still drive for exercise. We're not as tight as Ireland. We can travel quite a bit.
Oh, really?
So just can't go to Wales, can't go to Scotland, can't go to Ireland. Can't go to Europe. But I'll cope.
That's one of the things about lockdown in Ireland now. As you say, it's very strict. I mean, it was county lockdown a while ago, which wasn't too bad. But now it's 5. Is it 5K at the moment? It's 5K, yeah. So literally, you can only go out of your house into the closest village. That's it. Yeah. I live like a 20-minute drive from the coast, and we have some great coastline around here. I can't even get there. There's a small lake near me. 5-minute drive. That's as close as I can. That's as far as I can go. So it's.
I was even stopped the other day going out to Moyden Loch with the ringneck ducks.
That's probably because you saw your fringe, I'd say. But it may not have been because of that.
That's only like 3.5 kilometers away, so
yeah.
We were told we were grand, so but it's just like that's how strict it is,
Nothing to worry about, lads. At the end of the day, these birds are all going to appear again.
I don't know, Garry. I think lesser kestrels are once in a lifetime.
Yeah, Garry, in Devon.
Brian, you will get a lesser kestrel in Ireland.
I don't know.
Ireland's. My whole theory about Ireland is it's got lots of potential, and you haven't got enough bird finders in Ireland. If you had more bird finders, you do better than England as a country.
Probably.
It's an amazing country. You guys are basically just getting bits and pieces every year. There's a lot of birds being...
Like that's only our third little swift. and first in nearly 18 years, you know. So
Yeah, okay, they're rare birds.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
you know, I've seen one. I could have seen 3 or 4 in Britain.
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Ireland would have had 3 or 4 as well, but you haven't got the observers to find them. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the Twitchers program, and one of the comments they made at the start was, there's an army of bird watchers there covering the local patches to find the rare birds for the Twitchers. In Ireland, it's the Twitchers who are trying to find the birds for the Twitchers, because there just isn't an army of bird watchers there to find them.
Yeah.
No, it's such a shame. You know, I've always been trying to promote Ireland. I want to get some more Brits over there, because you have the time of your life. It's just a fantastic country. You're so friendly over there. I just I love it when there's a bird on Eden Island, because I can't wait to come over and see it. I just have a great time. So whether I see it or not, it's a great time.
We appreciate you saying that, Gary. Yeah, I have to agree with you. By and large, the birding community in Ireland is very, very welcoming, I would say, at least. Right, that's our pain caption. We're going to get back to the interview and the task at hand. So what's going to happen is, Gary, we're going to go through the first 15 or 16 questions. Brian and I will take a turn about, and then we've got the big gun, Peter Hell, back in reserve, and he's going to ask you the last 3 really difficult questions, okay? So don't blow your wad too early, okay? Save something in reserve here, because Peter's coming with the big guns, that's always. Right? So I'll take the first question, if that's all right, and it's a very basic one, Gary. How did you get into birding, and then how did that progress to twitching?
Okay. About 1977, I was 10 years old, and living at my parents' house. We basically booked some cockatiels, and you know, I wanted my own pets as well. I had gerbils and everything else. They booked me some zebra finches. So I had 2 zebra finches and 2 fawn finches in 77, and then we made some friends that had a macaw down the road, and you know, we bought a parrot in the end, and then they introduced me to the YOC and the RSPB. So, you know, I'm 53 now, so 43 years I've had an interest in birds, and I did like birds in the garden, but I've always sort of, you know, the thought of flying is amazing. You know, birds flying, and I think that's what the attraction is. It's because they fly. If they just sat there, if it was a flower just sitting there, I wouldn't be that interested in it. But birds fly, and it makes it very, very exciting. And they're colourful and pretty, and there's lots of history. So yeah, that was the starting point at age 10.
No way, it's early. Almost as young as our young McCluskey here. Yeah.
Almost.
So how did you get into the twitching then?
The twitching come much later in life. Twitching started really 99. Yeah, I did my first twitch in 92, but 99 was when I got into twitching. It was all literally seeing this guy's notebook where I was working at the time, Neil Howes, and he had all these sort of wonderful birds he was seeing, and I thought, crikey, I've got to give up the plane spot and get back into bird watching. This is amazing. And from 99 till today, I've gone for everything that's turned up. So
that's really cool.
I've missed 10 birds in 20 years.
Wow.
Is that by obviously not just going for them, was it, rather than dipping, I presume?
Some I couldn't go for because I had work restrictions. But yeah, there's been 10 birds I've missed, and 4 of them are this year. It's unbelievable. So, you know, but this year's been a hell of. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But I've pulled so many birds back this year that that have been really mega rare. Yeah. So I've had a fantastic year.
You have, yeah.
You have a massive hit rate there. That's fantastic. Like in that period of time, to only miss 10 birds, and ridiculous. 4 of them to have come in the COVID era, you know, which obviously increases the likelihood, is fantastic. Well done. That's really, really impressive.
So would you have been on Scilly in 99 with like the short-haired eagle and that, or?
Yeah, I was there in 99. I went for 3 days. I saw the white thrush in 99. I saw the yellow-billed cuckoo. I saw the upland sandpipers. I missed the side thrush. I missed the short-toed eagle. Right. And I saw short-toed lark, Richard's pipit. red breast, red flank bluetoe on the way home. You know, it was a good sillies that year, 99.
Yeah, it hopped that year. I remember. Yeah.
What's the list at now, Gary? What's the list at now? Just to put us out of our misery.
Okay, BOU and IRBC 545, UK 400 570.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
Wow, that is.
Like, we'll never see. Like, the Irish list isn't even at 500. Like,
no,
it's only about 480 something. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll take a couple of years to get there, I'd imagine too.
There's probably about 50 birders that have seen just as many as me, and more than me. About 50. I mean, I'm probably in the top 50 in the rankings over here. So, but you know, I've done well in the last 20 years. I could be actually, you know, when I first started birding in '77, if I stayed just doing bird watching, I've estimated that there's 16 birds I could have got between 77 and 99, and another 10 I've missed recently. That's 26. So I could really be on 570 now.
BOU.
570? Yeah, 570 birds I could be on. That I'd be in the top 10.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow. Regrets. You'll make them back. Right, Brian, next question. Go.
So what's your favourite bird and your favourite UK bird?
Okay, I've always loved the finch family. I don't know why. I just find them amazing. The size and the calls, and they're all quite easy to identify. There's no real complication. I suppose it has to go to hawfinch. Hawfinch is probably my favourite bird.
Good call.
You know, if, for example, they become extinct, I'd be a very sad person. You know, we're losing willow tit in Britain at the moment. Let's just what woodpeckers go in the same sort of way. But if we lost hawfinch, I'd be absolutely so depressed. It's a fantastic bird, and you know, it's the best bird in Britain as far as I'm concerned. The best rarity in Britain, I like, is the Siberian thrush, the male Siberian thrush.
Absolutely, yeah.
Still never seen a male. Saw the female.
That'll do.
Have we lost Gary?
I think we've lost him, yeah.
It's just a gorgeous looking bird, and it's the classic rarity.
Yeah.
Gary, we lost you the last 10 seconds. Repeat the last 10 seconds of your speech there, will you? Sorry.
Okay. Basically, I think the best rarity in Britain I like is the Siberian thrush, the male. I've been for like 6 of them in the last 20 years, and I saw the female this year in Fife. But you know, I really want to see a male one of these days, because they're just, you know, that is the bird of the year. You know, it's the autumn bird that we all want to see. It's just a fantastic looking bird.
It's always one of the ones that you kind of like. Tory Island is Donegal for us, and it's probably the Fair Isle of Ireland. And it's really not the Fair Isle of Ireland either. It's like you get one big bird every 4 or 5 years, but it's always the kind of Fair Isle and Shetland kind of stuff that you're kind of hoping for. Pechora pipit, side thrush, all that kind of stuff. So they're the kind of species that we'd be looking for as well. But it's just last side thrush. I think there's 2 records, one in '85 and then one in the 2000s, I think, on loop head. So
they're almost annual in Britain now, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're all like one dayers. So the silly one stayed 3 days. The one in Scotland stayed 5 days, but that's so unprecedented. You know, that they're all like one dayers, and you've got no chance getting them. They're always Fula, Unst, mainland Shetland, and things. I just keep going for them. I know I'm not going to get them. I just get on the National Express bus, spend me 140 quid, get up there, and then come back again, because I know it's going to be gone the next day. But it doesn't matter. You know, at least I've given it a go.
But you've probably connected with stuff over the years by doing that, expecting to dip as well.
Oh yeah. The Craig Martin, the one in Flamborough, 2000 and whatever it was. You know, that bird broke, and I went for it, and I didn't get there till dark, and I had no chance getting it. But I thought, Craig Mine, it's going to be somewhere. It's going to be seen somewhere. It might move around a bit, but it's seen somewhere. And anyway, we spent the whole day trying to see it in Yorkshire, in Flamborough, and it wasn't showing. So we went south a little bit, and And, basically, it was refound at Flamborough. So I turned the car around. I was back there within like an hour and a half. And as soon as we got to the site where the crag martin was, it had gone. It's been there for like an hour, 2 hours, and it just disappeared. And luckily, it moved its way around the headland. And, we heard where it was. We just charged our cars, zoomed round there, and crikey, there's a crag martin just flying up and down. The views were spectacular of it. So I couldn't have got that from Sussex. I had to be in Yorkshire to get that bird. So it's worth going for birds if you think they've got a chance of staying.
That wasn't the one that was seen around the church, was it?
No, there was a long stay in Derbyshire after that.
Oh, Derbyshire, you're right. Yeah.
Crag martins. There was a one dayer in Leicestershire and one day somewhere else. Same bird, and some people got that bird. That was in '99. There was a '99, and I didn't twitch those birds in '99. Mm. But crag martin's been a hard bird. But now we've got the long stayer. Everybody's got it.
It's unblocked, yeah.
It's unblocked for the masses.
Yeah.
Sidebar, does that cheapen it a little bit, Gary? That everybody's got it? Does that cheapen it a little bit that everyone's got it, or what do you think?
No, I think it's good that people get them, John, at the end of the day, because, people love getting gripbacks, they enjoy doing it. And at the end of the day, it's a hobby for everybody. Let's just share the fun of seeing these birds.
Absolutely.
If every bird I see comes back next year, I don't care. I've seen them, and let other people see them. It's not an issue to me. I'm only in competition with myself, and that's a really important point, because these people that are sort of trying to beat their friends, there's terrible rivalries you get with that sort of competition, and you fallouts, and it's just not worth it. Enjoy the hobby, see as many birds as you can. If other people see them, absolutely great. It really doesn't matter.
That's a fantastic answer. It really captured the how I feel the spirit of birding should be, and the spirit of twitching should be. We'll move on to question 3. There was a couple of nice kind of lead-ins to this following question, especially when you're talking about just going and knowing you're not going to get the bird, and spending your money and hoping for the best anyway. But what is twitching to you? And, can you really explain what drives you to do it, Gary?
Okay, well, the thing is, this day and age, we've got the internet, we've got Twitter, we've got all these instant images of birds being shown, and if that's your hobby, if your hobby is seeing birds, basically you want to go and see them. There's no point sitting at home or sitting at work when there's a bird to be seen. You might as well just get it out of the system and go, because you can't concentrate on doing your job. It's very difficult to think about whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. There's a rare bird in the country you want to see. You better go and see it. So the reason I want to go and see those birds is I want to see as many birds as I can in my lifetime. If I don't get these first of Britons and these seconds of Britons,
Jesus, John, you've changed.
You might never get them back again. So that's the motivating factor. And when you look at the bird report at the end of the year, you want to say, "Yeah, I saw that." It connects you with the year, and it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do apologize, folks. My light fell and I had to catch it, and I didn't think that would be a particularly aesthetically pleasing image for all of you. So I muted the camera. But I think you captured that the sentiment lovely there. It does for me as well. When there's a bird in the country that I need, and it's strange. It's something that struck me as quite strange, considering I'm comparatively new to the hobby. You don't do a bit of good when there's something you need or you want to see out there, because it's all it certainly takes me out of that creative space. I can't write, I can't function properly, because all I can think about is getting that bird. That's kind of similar to yourself, and I'm sure the lads would kind of agree with me there on that one. So McCluskey, go.
So what's been your favourite twitch and your favourite twitch in Ireland?
Skipped with 4 questions there.
Twitch in Ireland?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I know the answer to that one. Cape Clear. I went for a yellow rump warbler.
Peters.
Peters, was it?
I found it.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
I tell you what, I went for a yellow rump warbler on Cape Clear and dipped it. I'm not sure what year it was, 2005, 6, 7, I'm not sure. There was one, and it was seen in the morning. We had notification that the yellow rump warbler was there, so we're all sort of, we didn't actually get to Cape Clear at that point. We're all celebrating. Yes, we got it. The bird's going to be there. All excitement. Harry Hussey was with us. We got the boat across Thew Island, and no sign of it. It vanished. And then there was a grey chick thrush as a compensation that year. So I'm not sure what year it was, but that was quite a downer. We got the boat back off of Cape Clear, but then obviously, myrtle warblers have always been rare in Britain. But they're always, I've seen one in Britain since. I saw one up in top Northumberland, wherever it was. But when that one turned up on Cape, me and my friend John Lees from Sussex, we got the ferry and drove down to Cork and got the boat across the Cape Clear, and the bird had gone missing. It was found by one of your top listers, and it was just what a feeling seeing that bird that day. And we watched it for a couple of hours, and then we spent the night in Cape Clear. We had something to eat with the Irish birders, and they made us feel like real celebrities. I love the walk you guys gave me, and Steve King was wonderful. He was giving us things from the obs shop, and I just love the whole atmosphere and how nice you guys are, and it was a great twitch. Not the rarest bird, but the best twitch we've ever done in Ireland.
Yeah, Gary, I found out. I was on holidays for a week on Cape, and the wind was in the west. It looked amazing, and I went out that day, and I've been out birding for 8 hours, and the best I'd had was 8 chiff chaffs. They were the only migrants all day, and I was walking back by the lake, and the wind was blowing across the lake on the road, and there was loads of flies on the road. There was loads of pied wagtails and rock pipits, and I just saw the small bird sitting in the grass margin right in the middle of the road of the track, and I got the bins on it, and I knew it was all fluffed up. It literally only just landed, and as soon as I got the bins on it, I thought, that's a myrtle warbler, and I couldn't see the rump, so I got a couple of shots of it, and I flew up, and I got a view of the rump, and I rang Steve Wayne to let him know. But when you're trying to find rare birds, you always think, God, I'd love to find something that would bring the Brits over. I'd love to get a plane. It'd be an amazing experience. And I think that was the only time actually I found that and that had people come over from Britain. I think there was about 50 people came over that week, and I think everybody got it bar one lad who came on for 2 or 3 hours. He cut it too short and he missed it. But I think the other 50 that came. But it was a great few days. I remember we all had dinner together in the little shop there. I think with pizzas and chips. And it was a lovely evening. It was a really nice experience.
So I would have saw you that day then. I took a picture of the group on my website. I don't keep my website going now, but I'm thinking about getting it up and running again because I need to write this book. So there's lots of stories on there that I want to extract. So I'm going to get that website. But there's a picture on my website of everybody eating, and it's just a fact. I just was on cloud 9 on that trip.
Yeah.
So thank you, Peter. I really appreciate you finding that bird, and it was superb.
Yeah, pleasure's mine.
Well done, Peter.
Did anybody poo-poo that record, Peter? I think not. Okay, we'll move on. What's the rarest bird you've seen, Gary?
Okay, I've seen 31 first for Britons and Islands in my lifetime. 18 of them have repeated since I've been twitching, and 13 haven't repeated. So it'd be one of the 13. I would say probably the rarest bird I've seen is a booted eagle, but that's not been accepted by the BOU or the Irish, which is great travesty. Also,
Eric will be delighted to hear you say that.
What's that?
Eric Dempsey will be delighted to hear you say that. He found that bird. We're starting a campaign for Eric, so we are. Justice for Eric will be trending on Twitter in the next couple of weeks as soon as we get back to our keyboards.
Booted eagle should be on the list, but yeah that's also long-billed murrelet I saw, which I think is one of the rarest birds. And maybe I'll never see a long-billed murrelet again. But Canada warbler, a one-off. There's so many birds that that are amazing that are probably never going to happen again. But yeah, I think the booted eagle's my favourite. and
Where did you see that?
Tremethick Cross in Cornwall.
Oh, right, okay.
It was there for it was kicking around. It was seen in Kent. It went to Cornwall, but it was a bit hit and miss. You could easily go to Cornwall for the day and not see it. But the day I went there, it was a weekend, and there was like loads of observers, and everybody was at Drift Reservoir. They were all over the place, and the bird come up and it showed for about 15 minutes, and gorgeous bird. And obviously when that decision come through that they're going to reject it, I thought, oh Christ, it took them years to make that decision, and it's heart wrenching, really. We all like birds of prey. Now this year, that bearded vulture, it's captured the nation, and they're probably going to reject it. So it's the best bird of the year. Seeing that bird flying around in Derbyshire, in the Peak District, early in the morning was just absolutely breathtaking. And I saw it in Sussex as well. So, these are great birds. But, you can't let the rarity decision-making process ruin your trip, because you know what you saw. You enjoyed the bird. Just because it doesn't go on the list, it doesn't really make much difference at the end of the day. It's about the experiences that count.
Yeah, I would agree. Be master of your own lists, people. No,
I think there was one report. I think the Lammergeier was seen flying towards Wales, and I think there was a couple of us were kind of hoping that it would continue.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't wait. It was pretty much my target species on a family birding trip to France, and I got a bird guide specifically. He was like, give me a list of the birds you want to see, and I was like, Lammergeier, what? Lammergeier, and I was like, it was 5 o'clock, finishing up at 6, and he's like, should be here. This is the usually roosts in this cliff and all this shit. But next thing, he goes, oh, I have it here. It's in the scope, and I got onto it, and I was like, that could be a fucking eyelash fraud. Like you're literally 5 miles away minimum. Like I'm not taking that. I wanted to see it dropping bones, man, and you're but yeah, epic bird, an epic bird. So is it your question or mine, Brian?
Yeah. So what's been your best find?
Sore point. Oh God. Well, put it this way: I found loads of rubbish. Richard's pipit, Orson bunting.
Jesus, Gary, rubbish.
Little Auk, blue throat, red rump swallow, olive back pipit. It's all just regular crap.
I need like 6 of them. I need like 6 of them.
Yeah, but for Britain, they're not when you've been birding 40 years, it's embarrassing. I have seen a prating hole spur in Kent. I didn't submit it, and it's done a flyover, so that would have been the rarest bird I found. And there was a red neck stint I was hoping at Weirwood one year, and a few people come down for it, and some people thought it was one, some people thought it wasn't one, and in the end we didn't actually do anything with the record. But so that is something I've got to do one of these days. But the trouble is, being a hardcore twitcher, and I don't live at the coast, I'm at a hell of a disadvantage because I'm very twitchy. As soon as the autumn comes, I don't want to be stuck on Scillies. I don't want to be stuck on Shetland. I want to be getting the birds when they turn up. And
if you want a list, that's the way to do it.
What's that? If
you want to be a lister, that's the best way to do it in autumn. Yeah,
well, thing is, I've made the decision. I want to get my list as big as I can. Yeah. So basically, when I've got a few more birds, maybe I will decide to do some birding holidays and try to find some birds. But you need luck. You need good eyesight. And my eyesight's rubbish. I use a computer every day. I'm an accountant, and they've actually destroyed my retinas. I can't see anything really these days. So, I'm pretty sure one day I'll go somewhere and there'll be a Caspian tern. I'll be sitting there. I'll get my damn iPhone out and take a picture of it, and it'd be a BBRC rarity, and I'll be so excited. But to me, I'd still rather get a new bird on my list than find a BBRC bird. It's if I was younger, I suppose I'd be more interested in finding birds, but because I'm so much later in life now, I'm running out of time to get those birds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good rationale behind it. That certainly is, and you're kind of, surprisingly enough, you're thinking on sort of, I suppose, strategically positioning yourself during autumn is similar to McCluskey's, because what you all have said to me is that we should be not on an island. We should be centrally located and ready to go.
At loan.
We should be in Athlone, renting a house in the middle of Ireland, ready to twitch any corner at the drop of a hat. And it is a fair point.
It's the great thing about being on England mainland. You know, if you want to go to the Scillies overnight, get yourself to Cornwall. You can get on the first plane, boat, whatever. You want to get to somewhere in Scotland, you can drive up there and you can get ready for the boat. You want to go to Shetland, you get to the airport. You want to go to Ireland, you can get a night flight to Ireland. You know, if you was doing a British and Irish list in Ireland, you've got a disadvantage. You've got to get to all these horrible locations quickly. And the time you get to England or Wales and then to England, you know, you lose the momentum. So for people that are doing the British and Irish list, we've got a hell of an advantage living in England.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of land mass. 600 miles of land going north and 300 miles going west. Basically, you know, we've got a chance of getting these birds.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say that's probably why the majority of Irish birders, like I've only heard, again, relative newcomer here, but I've only heard of Irish lads twitching the UK for 3 or 4 birds, like
Black Lark, and I think didn't some go for the Murrelet? I think
it was a tern.
Pechora pipit in Wales.
Pechora pipit in Wales, yeah.
They're tern species as well.
Oh,
am I imagining that?
Sooty tern, yeah.
There we go. Yeah,
and actually, me and John were that close from twitching the Tellmam's Owl up on Shetland.
Yeah, we were.
Gone. It was there for ages. You should have gone.
I know.
It was like.
What?
It was going to cost us thousands of euros to get there, essentially. That was the deciding factor. Between us, it was going to cost us like $2,000. I had to admit.
It doesn't have to cost that much. Just get on the ferry, you know, get to Wales, drive up to Scotland, get on the ferry. You could have done that bird for less than 300 quid, £200. You know, whatever the euros.
Yeah.
€250, and you would have had a fantastic experience.
Yeah,
because I know a lot. Yeah, because a lot of people will say like, "Oh, well, why not just go to like Northern Europe or that for them?" But I think the whole twitch would have just been amazing.
There's a certain buzz to that. Like, there's definitely a buzz to go into a different country to get a bird. Like, you know, I think that would be twitching a different country and back. There is an added buzz, in my opinion. So that's going to be on the regret tick list, McCluskey. That was it. And believe I tried to talk you into that, so I did. I was when I was doing a lot of teaching.
I think we were bird in Dublin, weren't we, when it was found?
I think so.
We basically made plans to go, but we never did the plans. So.
It just fell apart. It fell apart.
Yeah.
We'll get the next one. Yeah. I'll find one in North Monaghan. We've got plenty of forestry here. It'll be grand.
Yeah.
So, is it my question or yours, McCluskey?
Yours, John.
Okay. What was your favourite twitch, Gary?
My favourite twitch?
Yeah. And feel under no pressure to mention the T-shirt in the background.
No, well, he's already said for Ireland, so for Britain, like.
Okay.
Favorite twitch in general.
My favourite twitch was basically I'm not sure what year it was, but there was an alder flycatcher in Norfolk.
Oh yeah. 2010.
2010. Yeah, I was playing. My daughter's was she was 6 years old, and we were playing a little numbers game together, having some fun with some maths, enjoying ourselves. And Kim saw my pager. She said, "Gareth, the mega alert's just gone off." I was like, "Well, what is it?" And she said, "Alder flycatcher, Norfolk." I thought, "Oh my god!" I missed the one that was in Cornwall, and I thought, I was into a bit of a panic. My daughter had some friends coming over to stay that night, and I had to get the mattress down. So, you know, I'm going upstairs to get the mattress ready and go upstairs to get my jacket. And I was going backwards and forwards. I thought I've got to start driving to Norfolk. This bird's going to be a difficult bird. You know, it's between 3 and 4 hours to get to Norfolk. 3 or 4 hours trip. Then it's Blakeney Point, which is 3 miles of shingle beach, which is another hour and a half of walking. it didn't mega to about 1:30. So 1:30, 1:30, 1:30, 1:30. So that's 1:30. I could have got there probably about 5:30. Then you got the walk 6:30, 7:15. It'd be getting dark. So basically, I put my foot down. I drove all the way to Cly, and then basically done the walk. Now the walk along the beach was horrendous because we had hailstones that day, and we had a 30-mile-per-hour westerly wind. So we were walking into this westerly wind. Anyway, I got on site about, I think it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And there was like a lot of people. And within 10 minutes, I saw the order flycatcher.
Class.
And then I had a bad view of it at that stage. And then someone had another better view. And I rushed over and my tripod landed on my head. And you know the manfrottos, how heavy they are. It cut my head open. I was covered in blood, but I still managed to set the scope up. And I was looking at this order flycatcher, and I watched the probably bird for about, I don't know, I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't that particularly long. It sort of vanished. It was dreadful weather. And then a Prula warbler megaed on Tyree. And I thought, oh, forget that. I can't go to Tyree. Impossible. Yeah, this was Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. I thought, I'm just going to go home again. So anyway, I started driving to south, and I got to Fakenham Fish and Chip Shop. I thought I must go and get something to eat. So I went to Fakenham Fish and Chip Shop, and Lee Evans was in there. And he said, Garry, John Bell's got a boat going to Tyree tomorrow. He said, and I'll reserve you a space on it. I said, I've been trying to get hold of you, but I couldn't get hold of you. I said, no, Lee, my phone's soaking wet. I'm saturated going to Blakely Point. The phone wasn't working. It was still trying to dry out. I said, you put me on a boat. You got me a boat for me. I said, that's really kind of you. So I ate the fish and chips, and I thought, yeah, right, I'm going to go for it. So I drove all the way up to Oban. I got there at 6:30 in the morning, and the boat goes at 9 o'clock to Tyree. And I met John Bell. He got there about 7:30, and we got at 8:13. I remember it precisely. The page went off. American Red Start still there. And I'll tell you what, the feeling is immense. Not American Red Start.
Prula.
Sorry, Prula. Yeah, but I'm getting confused. Yeah, Prula. The feeling was immense. I thought, oh God, it's still there. That's great news. So anyway, so we're on the boat, and on the boat we're trying to organise car hire on a Sunday, taxi to get to the bird, to John Bowler's house. Basically, we're not answering the phone. So we thought, Christ, we've got this, like, when we get to the island, we've got no transport. We've got like a 25-mile walk to get to this bird. It's going to be an absolute joke. Luckily, a charter plane had gone in with Angus Murray on there, and he actually had a taxi. He actually got this minibus picked up. So when we docked, I think we docked about 1 o'clock on Tyree. The minibus come for us. Me and John Bell got into it. Got to John Bowler's house in 15 minutes. Took our shoes off, went into a living room, and bang, looked out his window, and there it was, a Prula. And it was absolutely unbelievable. We was chatting to John for 3 hours, and we had a fantastic time. Left there at 4 o'clock, and then we thought, we've got to find somewhere to... Well, we've done a bit of bird watching. We saw some red poles and some geese and things. And we had no transport on the island. We had to get we had to find some accommodation. So we thumbed a lift, and this woman and all these dogs in the back of the car. And so we just jumped in the back of the car with all these dogs, and she found this B&B for us, stayed the night there. And next morning we woke up, had breakfast, and we walked to the port, and basically then got the ferry back home, back to Oban. I think it's like a 4-hour crossing or something. It's quite a long time. So I left my house Saturday at 1:30, and I didn't get back home to probably the Tuesday night. It was just a mad twitch, and to cut my head open and still want to see the bird. Who cares if there's blood gushing from your head? It wasn't really an issue. Just wanted to see that flycatcher, So
That's the story, Garry.
And as well, it was you probably actually dipped the Cornwall Alder flycatcher because you were in Ireland.
I think it was month end. The first 5 days of every month, I've got my accounts to do at work. So basically, they don't really let me go for birds. I bet you that flycatcher was in those first 5 days, because I go for everything, you know.
I think I remember that the flycatcher was found. Did you go for the little blue heron?
I got that, yeah.
And the tanager?
Got that as well, yeah.
I think the flycatcher was found on one of those days. Fairly sure.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can't remember too well now, but I know I didn't go for it. Maybe I was in Ireland.
Yeah.
Maybe I was in Ireland. I can't remember, but anyway, it's. I don't think it was at a weekend, that older flycatcher. I think it was gone by the weekend. I think it was there 2 days. And I had the flight booked to go to Ireland. Because I think the tanager was there quite a while, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And the little blue heron was there for weeks.
Mm.
So it was a great little flight, you know. Flew to Ireland, saw the Scarlet Tanager first thing in the morning, drove away to Letterfrack, saw that, and got on a flight home. So it was a day trip for all those wonderful birds and all that miles, you know. It's amazing. And then the Philadelphia Vireo turns up, doesn't it? I go and dip it. I got another flight back to Ireland, and it was too late.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough bird. Always a controversial one.
Moving on quickly.
that was your favorite twitch, and Jesus, Gary, as they go, that has to rank up there. Head
That's
wounds and two mega yanks. That's awesome. What was your worst dip? Or is that your question, McCluskey?
That's my question.
Oh,
what's your worst dip?
Continuity ruined. I'm sorry.
Well, I reckon it's a toss-up between Royal Tern and Yellow-breasted Bunting.
Mm.
I've been for 4 Royal Terns. I went for the one in Wales and missed that, and then it was refound again somewhere else in Wales. Missed it again. Then one was Finning Island. I think I was with Brian on that day. I missed it in Ireland, and then it was back in another part of Ireland.
That was the issue. He's a jinx.
Anyway, on that my 4th time of trying to get Royal Tern, wherever the first place was, we missed it in the morning. It basically gone, and then it was seen another part in Ireland, and we went to there and we just missed it, and it was about 3:15 that we actually saw it at Little, a place called Little. And I think it was still there the following day, but that was a hard bird to get, and I missed the one in Sussex as well because I was actually in Turkey at the time. But Yellow-breasted Bunting is probably the bird that I deserve more than anything. I've dipped 7 of them now.
Wow.
I've dipped. It's just unbelievable. I've dipped them twice in Shetland, twice in Auckland, twice in Norfolk, once in Portland, once in Ireland when I left your Myrtle Warbler.
Jersey,
There's one in Ireland, in Jersey. I dipped that one. The Farne Islands of Brownsman. I went there for that. Didn't think I could get to Brownsman because they don't really let people on there, but I still drove up there anyway. So yes, I've been for 7 of them. But the Shetland ones are really painful though, because you know, to go up to Shetland and get a flight that's £500 return, you know, and the bird's gone on the 3rd day or 4th day, whatever it was. It's just a gutter. And I could have easily got Yellow-breasted Bunting in the early days. You know, there was a long stay on St Agnes that stayed 3 days. I think Tresco had one in the early 2000s. But you know, my boss didn't let me go onto the Portland bird, which I could have got that day. You know, she normally says to me, "Oh yeah, Gary, you can go for the bird, no problem." But that day she wanted me to stay and do something, so she said, "You can go the following day for Portland." So I went the following day for Portland, and it had gone, but it was there all day at Portland. And that bird now is just, you know,
mythical nearly, isn't it?
It's scary. I don't know how I can get one. I just, you know, the Wolseley bird, the Outer Skerries bird that a lot of people twitch was there for 3 days, and I got there just a day too late. It's.
In fairness, so they still turn up every 2 or 3 years, but they're never easy to get.
Very much your bogey bird, Gary. Very much your bogey bird. You know,
but it's the easiest bird I need as well.
Crazy to think about it. It's just Murphy's Law, one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So right,
they're not going to get any commoner either.
No, unfortunately.
No.
So we've covered your favorite twitch, your worst dip. What was the maddest twitching moment that you were a part of?
God, maddest twitch. I still, you know, even though that indigo bunting this autumn was pretty mad.
Beautiful.
You know, the indigo bunting was like, I was looking at a dusky warbler in Sussex, and the phone goes off that, there's this indigo bunting, and I thought, oh, that'd be nice to go and see. And someone said to me, Gary, the boat's not going till quite late on the Monday. The flights are basically, the helicopters are a fortune. The planes, there ain't many planes. If you want to do it the cheap way, like, they like, I like a bargain, John. I don't like spending big bucks and birding. So I wanted a bargain, and the boat was going to get me there probably about, I think the boat was going at 12 o'clock or something? It was going to get you there about 3:45. And I thought, well, and basically the boat was going to turn round again. So, I thought, well, I don't really want to take 2 days leave. I only want 1 day's leave. So I thought, right, let's just go for 1 day. And then I found out there was a plane going to, a chopper going to Tresco. So I rang up my friend John. Well, John rang me up loads of times because he wanted to go. And I said, look, John, there's a helicopter option, but it's about 130 quid one way. And there's no way we can get from Tresco easily to St Agnes. And he said, Gary, just book it. So we booked it, 250 quid. But it was going to get there quite early. I think the chopper was going about 11 o'clock. So anyway, we left my house at, I don't know, 5 p.m. on the Sunday night. And then I drove to Cornwall, and we slept in the car. And then we got to the heliport, and our friend John Sawyer was going across with his wife for a week's holiday. I think he was planning on spending about £2,000 on silly. So John, it's not a problem for John spending loads of money, but he went across.
Different John, people, just to be clear. not this John, different John.
No. So anyway, so we got on the chopper. We landed at Tresco about 11:30, and they promised me they'd give me a special boat to get me across to Agnes. But there was a VIP booking, wasn't there, on the Monday, and the VIP booked the boat out all day. So we had no way of getting from Tresco to St Agnes. So, I was with another, was there 5 or 6 birders? Yeah, 6 birders, I think there was, that wanted to get across. And someone rung up Joe Pinder. And Joe Pinder basically runs all the boats. And they basically did get us a boat. They took us from St Mary's to Tresco, picked us up, and we landed at Agnes at 2 o'clock. I ran all the way to where the indigo bunting was, and the birds showing 2 meters away, 3 meters away. It was just, we watched it for about 36 minutes in total. There was a red-eye vireo just around the corner. And I went to see the red-eye vireo, but that wasn't showing. I thought, let's go and see this indigo bunting. And so we went, and the indigo bunting is still showing there. And then we watched it. And then at basically 2:55, it walked out of view. We thought, oh, we'll just walk around and see it. Vanished. Couldn't see the bird anywhere. Anyway, so then we got on the regular boat back to St Mary's, and a lot of Brits come across at that stage. We had Dan Poynton come across, John Pegden, and we had Steve Gantlett that all come on the boat. And we thought, yeah, lads, it's just up the road. Just walked out of view. I'm sure
Gantlett did it.
Gantlett went for it. I don't know if he needs it or what, but Gantlett.
I can't remember if it's him or Webb haven't seen the Ramsey bird.
I don't really know what.
I can't remember. I think one of them needs it. Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, that they turned up, and then we were on the boat back, and there's still no sign. There's nothing coming up on the WhatsApp group or on the pager that the bird was there. So then then the Sicilian arrived. We tried to find a nightingale. We didn't see a nightingale in St Mary's, and then we got the boat back to Penzance. And then 30 birders got off the boat they're all quite excited about getting the indigo bunting, but they look down because they think the bird had gone. You know, hadn't been seen since we saw it at 5 to 3. And so, you know, it's quite a sad moment, really. The bird looked like it was dying to me. I reckon that bird would have died before those guys turned up. And I didn't want to tweet any news about that bird dying because, you know, Garry Bagnell tweets that the bird's dying and people are on their way. You know, it's not something you want to do. Yeah. I kept the thoughts to myself. I thought, let people come and see the bird. And sure enough, it wasn't seen again. So yeah, that was what was a bit of a disaster with that trip was that, so we got the boat back to St Penzance. One guy had his car positioned at Penzance and he drove us to the heliport. So we got to the heliport and the gates were locked. And, you know, I was furious. You know, I wanted to go home. I've only had a few hours sleep the night, you know, early in the morning, and the gates are closed and you ring up security and then the phone went dead on me, and then I rang back again. And then my phone dies on me. I thought, right, I've got to get to my car. So I climbed over the fence gate of the helicopter pad, went to my car, charged it up, and then I rang them back. And they said, yeah, okay, we'll send someone out. I said, how long will it be? They said, we don't know. I thought, oh, you're joking. So, you know, I bought, so helicopter on, boat off. Unless you've got a return helicopter flight, the place is shut. So,
it's a bit ridiculous.
So eventually they turned up, and then we drove back, and obviously, you know, the next day people went back to look for it, and they still didn't see the bird. So, you know, it's nice that we got the bird, but it was a twitch that, you know, it's incredible. It's incredible how it all worked out. Mm-hmm. You know, being a cheapskate, it would have been Sicilian for me. If that was a weekend, that would have been Sicilian, and I would have. Yeah, but because I had to stay the night on there, and I thought, well, the cost of B&B, and then there's rumours the boat was going to go back on Wednesday, it was going to go back on Friday. I thought, oh God, I'm going to have to pay another flight. I might as well just pay for this helicopter. So I'd done the maths in my head. I thought, well, this is the only way of doing it. It's dear. It's going to cost me quite a lot of money, but it's my only chance of getting the bird, and it paid off.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, because I think I sent you a message or something when the news broke. I said, good luck if you go or something, and you just replied like on the morning chopper, and I just thought that is unbelievable. Like, because
right, do you like my tweets?
Huh?
Do you like my tweets? They're a bit random, but do you like them?
They're very random, but they're good. Yeah.
I tried to mention latte. If I don't mention the word latte in a tweet, it's a bit of a failure. I've got to have a latte in the tweet.
But in fairness,
or a Subway, you know? Latte and a Subway is, you know.
I know, I saw that as well. And then a load of people replying on the like, "What Subway did you get this week, Gary?" But in fairness, the indigo bunting looked absolutely fucked in the videos.
Yeah, it wasn't well, was it? It had that bit of bracken attached to it, because it fell over. We heard the news when I was at the heliport that it fell over on its side for a second. And when it came back up again, it still had that bracken attached to it. And I thought, this bird's like the ovenbird all over again. The 2004 ovenbird was walking around my feet. And they picked that up, and that bird died. That young silly. So it's a moribund bird. And what can you do about it? You don't know about the condition of the bird when you first hear about it. You know, think, crikey, indigo bunting, massive rarity, got to go and see it. You don't inquire about its health. You know, it's a dodgy one. I'm lucky to get that bird. It stayed the night. I'm just lucky it stayed the night. And when it went missing, I don't know I didn't really capture it on there, but that bird went missing most of the morning. It was seen for about an hour, then it vanished. It went into some bushes. So when we landed on Tresco, that bird wasn't seen. So we was on Tresco over an hour. When we got on that boat, it took us half an hour to Agnes. 15 minutes into that journey, then the bird was found. So it was seen an hour in the morning, an hour when we was there, and that was it for the day. And the bird's only in an area size of this room. It's a small area it was in. So I reckon that bird was thinking about dying before we saw it. I reckon it went into the hedgerow and thought, no, I'm okay. I'll have another feed. It was just feeding all the time, never preening, never wing stretching. It was just, you know, I think its organs were all failing. You know, it was definitely dying.
It got a look at Garry Bagnell that just said, look, That's it. I can go now. That's it. Rest in peace at this point. It is a mad moment, though. It's one I'd never actually thought of that. Like, imagine twitching a bird and you're a genuine rational fear is that it'll die before you get there. Like, I'd never occurred to that. Never would have thought of that. I don't think there's any birds that I've twitched thus far that could have.
Well, the Eastern. Do you remember the Eastern subalpine Tory?
No, I didn't go for that there because I.
Oh, did you not go for that?
Finders were very dodgy. Finders were dodgy.
That definitely kicked the bucket. No question.
Yeah, it didn't look good. And some of those photos, it was kind of curling back up into itself. We'll not talk about that. Great bird, though, at the same time. Both great birds. Both great birds. Next question, please.
So what's your most wanted?
Oh, I think you can guess it, can't you?
Yeah, yellow-breasted.
Yeah, yellow-breasted.
Yeah.
I could retire if I got that bird. You know, as far as I'm concerned.
But you wouldn't. Twitchers are like that. You say like I'm even thinking, if the belted kingfisher stays the winter and I get that, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But I probably won't be because I'll be thinking like, it's a pity we didn't get the lesser kestrel as well. Twitchers are never happy.
No, you're never happy.
No.
You are never happy. Peter and I can go out and see a bird, and Burberry. If the news breaks badly for us, we're upset for 5 or 10 minutes and we move on.
I don't think there's ever a point you can get to say, well, I don't have to be tempted by a bird anymore because I've seen, like we say, if an alder flycatcher turned up and you got a parula, or if you said, if I get the alder flycatcher, I won't go for the parula. But you wouldn't. Once you get the flycatcher, all you can think about then is the parula.
Yeah. I think when a bird breaks, you want to make excuses not to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually, you think, oh no, I can't because of this X, Y, and Z. But the longer that you see those messages, that bird's still there, those excuses sort of fizzle away, you know, and you basically all you care about is seeing that bird, and you're so pumped up. When I did that Stella's Ida in Orkney last year, I said to the guys, look, I'm not coming back here again. Forget it. No chance. You know, it's been a great twitch. We had all these boat charters. We spent, you know, 300-400 quid getting absolutely nothing. And Stella's Ida. And then some guy claimed it in the middle of nowhere, which we don't think that sighting was kosher. But we checked the sighting out, went to the area it was, just wasted time. Come on, if we stayed on the island that night, we would have seen, potentially, the Stella's Idas. It come back again to that lock. But no, we didn't, and we just basically come home. And then obviously this Paddyfield pipit turned up in Cornwall, and the Stella's Ida was found by Point, and he went back for it and he found the thing. And I thought, oh Christ, I'm not going to go for the Paddyfield, can't be bothered. But I did. I went and got the Paddyfield. I drove all the way to Paddyfield, then I drove all the way to Scotland, and I basically, you know, I was gone for usual 3 or 4 days, and I got both the birds, and I come back, and that Stella's Ida was like the bird of the year last year. I was so pleased with it. But I was adamant I wasn't going to go back for it. I was so annoyed about that dip. I thought, this is so annoying. But if you get another chance at these birds, you forget about what you said. You know, it's a different chapter. You've got another chance, lads. You've got another chapter. You know, you've got another chance of getting this bird. You know, give it a go.
I think, is that the one that Dan Poynton found the Tellmams on the way?
Yeah,
remember that?
Which one? Where?
Did he find a Tellmams owl on the way up to Orkney that day when he refound the cellars?
He found it.
I think he did.
Very close to where the lock was. It was actually on. It was on Westray. It was on the sea at Westray, and then it was seen by Bob Watts. He went for it and saw it.
Yeah, but am I imagining it, or did he find the Tellmams owl on the way up?
Oh right, yes, he did find a Tellmams owl.
Did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did find a Tellmams owl. Was that the first weekend or the second weekend? Only he saw it. So
yeah,
I don't know what he's going to do with that record, whether he's going to submit it or not. But you know, we didn't even bother stopping for the Tellmams owl. We'd seen one in Shetland. You know, I just wanted to get there. Just get there in one piece without crashing the car. That's the priority. Getting in one piece. You know, getting extra birds when you're knackered is,
yeah,
it isn't worth worrying about. You just want to get the target bird. But,
So, what species have you seen on your list that you travel for again?
well, I suppose it has to be the birds you've seen worst on your list, isn't it?
Mm.
And there's only one bird on my list that I've seen very, very badly. And I think probably Brian knows what that bird is.
Tennessee.
Tennessee warbler. It's absolute dog shit view. Terrible view.
I'd have taken that over the view I got on this year.
But at the end of the day, I made a big mistake there. I actually put it on Twitter and I said to people, well, what would you do about this bird? And some people said, no, you can't tick it unless you can see features. And some people said, Gary, if you've seen the bird, you just tick it. And when I went for the Siberian thrush, some guys said to me, Gary, you're mad. You've seen the bird. Just tick it. And so I could have gone for it again that weekend. I could have gone for it. It was actually in Shetland that weekend. I was in the Siberian thrush. But I've dipped 5 Siberian thrushes. That's the bird I want to see well. So I spent the whole weekend looking at the Siberian thrush, and I didn't bother going to Shetland. And I wasn't really that bothered. I've seen the bird, not well, but give me another chance at one, I'll go for it. But I'm so annoyed how much it costs to go to Shetland on a short notice. It's 484 quid that flight cost.
Fucking hell.
It's a complete rip-off.
Yeah.
I reckon the most expensive twitch that I've done was probably dipping the blackbird albatross off Skellings. And that probably wouldn't have cost over 200 quid, and that's the most expensive ever, compared to just a Shetland twitch.
No, that's just a Shetland flight, Brian.
Just a flight, yeah.
Just a flight,
And you've got to get to Aberdeen, John. You've got to drive to Aberdeen. Yeah. That's 150 quid in fuel. Then you've got to hire a car on there.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah.
That Tennessee warbler was a nightmare. It cost me 900 quid for that 1 second view when it flew into a sycamore. 900 quid I spent. We even smashed the windscreen of the hire car that day. As soon as we'd left the airport, the stone chipped up and smashed the windscreen. So I paid 150 quid for that. It's just a rip-off. 484. Because I've got all this lockdown business, not sharing cars. I went by myself. I had all the petrol from Sussex to Scotland and back. Hire car. I did share with a few guys. The parking at Aberdeen's like 30 quid for the day. It's just like rip-off Britain.
Yeah.
You spend a fortune. And I just didn't want to go and spend another fortune on that Tennessee. I didn't want to do it on the cheap.
Yeah.
And I would have done it after the eyebrow thrush. I went for the eyebrow thrush on the Wednesday.
Gary, I'll be blunt. I could not afford to spend.
I couldn't afford that. Not a chance.
Not a chance. I thought, to me, in all honesty, €1,000 is 7 or 8 birds. Do you know what I mean? Maximum.
More,
More, 10 birds, because look, I've got a team of cool guys around me and Peter, Brian and Jer, of course. So we always kind of split everything 4 ways. But at the same time, if you were if it was €1,000 a bird, I'd be twitching once a year. Do you know what I mean? That's insane money, Gary.
Yeah.
I would not have gone back for views of that bird either. Not a chance. Not a chance. I think you're right. And as well as that, if you see the bird, you see the bird. That's my opinion. It's not even...
Yeah, I saw it like a chiff. It looked like a chiff-chaff. It was a chiff-chaff, and I saw it flying in, top of the sycamore, and 4 people got onto it, and they were saying, oh, yeah, I saw the black bill, seen this, seen the other. Seen the primary projection, the tips on the primaries, they saw the bright yellow colour of it. They all saw it when I'm thinking, where is it? I just couldn't see it. And we thought, let's take a deep breath. You'll see it eventually. That bird didn't show for the rest of the day.
No,
absolutely nothing. And the next day it was back again. So I don't know where it went that day. I don't know if it stayed in the sycamore the whole time because there was a hell of a wind. It was blowing a wind all day, and I think maybe the bird. It's only a small sycamore, not a big sycamore. It's someone's garden, but it's a bird that's I'm gonna feel bad about for years.
The only thing I'll say is, and we very recently had this discussion, we reckon Tennessee over the next couple of years could show its head again. Peter was saying, I think last week you were saying, Peter, that it was a really, really good year for their food species.
That's right. Tennessee warbler and Cape May warbler, I think, had good breeding years. They feed the chicks on on grubs that grow in the trees, and there's been a boom in the insect population. So they had a good couple of years. So I suppose there's a better chance of those two species turning up in the next 4 or 5 years, as long as the population keeps growing.
Yeah, so there's every chance you'll get that one back and maybe not need a mortgage to go and see it, because that is fucking extortionate prices.
Isn't it? Like, I'm just trying to think, John, 99% of our Twitches are like 40 or 50 quid.
Yeah. Like, yes, exactly. I can afford to go out and throw maybe 50 quid or 60 quid a week burden and not get shot in the face by the fiance. But if that goes over maybe 200 quid a week, I just couldn't have afforded it.
No.
At this stage of my life, definitely not.
Like we are very lucky in Ireland. We're very lucky in Ireland because it's small enough that you can get there in a day and back, and there's very little cost other than the car journey, maybe a ferry, 25 quid. But other than that, like, you can get to just about anywhere, and even overnight for about 100 quid.
Yeah.
If you don't charter, you can get it like no problem. Like Cape, you get it for like 70 or 80 quid, like in total.
Certain areas of Inishbofin will cost you €150 to get a taxi to, but
Inishmore, yeah.
Sorry, Inishmore, is
Absolutely,
it?
Yeah.
We'll not tar them all at the same brush, but some islanders can make their own prices,
That was ridiculous.
But that was ridiculous. But at the same time, it's only about a quarter of what Garry paid for his flight, so we got off kind of lightly when you think about it. That's insane, man. I never.
Just out of interest, how long does it take you to drive from Sussex up to Scotland?
Aberdeen's about 11 hours. It's 13 hours to go to John O'Groats. When I went to for the Eyebrow Thrush, that was a 13-hour drive, non-stop.
Non-stop. So you drive that yourself?
Yeah. I don't trust anyone. Yeah, I nearly got killed in a car crash for the chestnut-eared bunting.
Okay.
I basically we chartered a plane. Yeah. A guy called Charlie from Wick. He's an alcoholic as well, so you never know whether he's going to turn up or not. He's a bit unreliable. But anyway, I drove a couple of lads all the way overnight to Wick Airport. Got to Wick. Chestnut-eared bunting was there. Got the flight across. Saw the chestnut-eared bunting. We watched it for we had to flush it out of where it was in this bracken. It flew out in the open. We watched it for about 15 minutes and it flew back to the bracken again. It vanished. And then we got the plane back again. And on the way back, I drove for an hour or so on the A9. And I said to one of the guys, any chance you could take over? So he jumped in the front car, front seat. I was laying in the back. I didn't even have a seatbelt on. And he just basically fell asleep. And he went from one side of the A9 to the other side of the A9, missed the oncoming traffic, and basically went straight into a crash barrier, and the car was completely smashed to pieces. So how he missed the oncoming traffic, it's amazing, because you're going 70 miles an hour, you're falling asleep. So ever since that day, I'm not a very good passenger. I try to drive myself. I drive myself generally everywhere now. If I feel comfortable with someone driving, I will trust them. But they've got to be a good driver for me to get in their car now.
Yeah. No, well, when you've had that kind of experience, it's rough. I can only imagine that would be rough. I have to admit, my days of long distance driving are behind me. Anything over 5 to 6 hours now, and I feel myself, I have to either get Jared to jump in, or I have to stop for half an hour, because I'll fall asleep. And I recognize myself kind of getting to the point where, like,
there's been a few times, John, when it's been me and you, and it's been literally scary. Like,
yeah,
you'd be nearly asleep at the wheel,
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I often do this when Brian is sitting beside me. I close my left eye really relaxedly and leave my right eye open and just go. Brian and that keeps me awake. The sheer enjoyment of that keeps me awake for a couple of hours more. But I think we'll advocate some road safety here, folks, and take a nap. Tiredness kills, as all those road signs in Ireland say. So pull in if you have to. But that is inspirational stuff, Garry. Fair play. I couldn't drive for 13 hours. No way. Yeah. So that was what species you've seen on your British list you travel for again with the Tennessee. We can all understand that's a rough bird. Next question, McCluskey, go.
So what's your BOU target? Like, what What are you hoping to get to?
Well, I reckon I can get to 600. I'm 5'4" at the moment. I'm 53. I'm average. I reckon I'm going to be getting about 3 birds a year. So let's say I twitch for another till I'm in the 70s. 17 times 3, 50 odd plus what I've got. I mean, I only got 3 or 4 short of getting 600. So I think the way that the new species keep getting, Dorian strikes and Turkestan strikes,
Stonechats and that, yeah.
Eastern stonechat. I think 600 is what I will get. So basically, every bird is important now. Every bird now. If I want to get, there's no point dying at 599, is there? You want to get the 600. So let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And thank God we got Ireland as well. I do the geographical locations. I don't care about political boundaries. Northern Ireland, Scotland. It means nothing. The bird doesn't look at the political boundaries when it's landing somewhere. You get all the Yanks, we get all the Sibes. That is a fantastic landmass to collect your birds in. And I love it if I get a bird in Ireland that I've missed in Britain in the past. It doesn't mean much to me. At the end of the day, an Irish bird is just as good as a Scottish bird to me. There's no difference between them.
Yeah.
And people say, "What is your BOU list?" I don't care. I don't want to know. I really don't. You guys have made it special for me in Ireland, and I want to keep coming to your country and seeing your birds. Your bird finders are finding some fantastic stuff. Us Brits are loving it, and we want to carry on coming. It's a shame you can't come our way, but I know why. You'd be here all the time. But
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be difficult, wouldn't it?
Would you, like, if something turned up that you'd seen it, like if I don't know, a royal tern or something turned up in Britain, would you go for that, like, or would you bother? Something that you've seen here.
Have we got Garry?
I'm thinking about doing an English dish as well. I'd like to get to England 500. I'm about 18 birds short of 500 in England.
Garry, you froze there for about 15 seconds. Could you just start again? Sorry.
Yeah. I'd royal tern. If there was one in England, I'd go for it because I'm 18 birds short of seeing 500 species in England. Not that it means much to me English. I still need Blythe's reed warblers. There's some easy birds on England.
Right, yeah.
But it's something I will achieve. It will happen one day. I'll get my 500th bird in England. So what? It'd be a nice thing to go and get. So I am thinking about birds that I've seen in Ireland, I'm seeing in Scotland and Wales, and if they do come over here, I probably would go for them. At the end of the day, twitching is becoming less and less. It doesn't happen very often these days. When you get such and such a list, all these megas that turned up in the last few days, I don't need any of them.
Yeah.
I've got your little swift. I've got your Baltic kingfisher. I've got your Sony Broadwit. I've got all these birds, so I'm just sitting back. But if that was an English tick, maybe that's something to go and think about. So I am tempted to see. I love the tern family. Royal tern is an awesome bird, and you can't tire of seeing terns.
No,
you really can't. They're special birds.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your first Irish twitch, Garry?
Okay, my first Irish twitch was white crowned sparrow at Dursey. 2003.
2003, yeah. That was a spring bird, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in May.
Yeah, May, yeah.
Did you get that, Peter?
No, I was on Great Saltee at the time, bird ringing with Alan Walsh and Martin Smith, and I remember the news came through. No, I had a week on Saltee, so I wasn't much of a twitcher at the time, so I headed home.
You hadn't met me, Peter.
You bad influence, you McCluskey. I don't think anyone had met you, Brian. I don't think you were born then, were you?
I was 5. Actually, I was 4 at the time, yeah.
I could have picked you up out of kindergarten and brought you down.
No, you were warned about that once, Peter. So we'll move on question-wise. So that was your first Irish Twitch. What was your best Irish Twitch, Gary?
We've done that.
Have we?
Haven't we?
Yeah.
I think we have.
Myrtle
Myrtle.
Myrtle
Oh,
Orbit.
sorry, right,
You
okay.
dunce.
Jesus, Brian,
No.
come on. That was your question and everything.
No, what all have you twitched in Ireland?
Okay.
Well, that's Twitch Ireland. I've had 18 connections, and I've had 15 dips.
Oh, right. So it's
Let me just
50-50,
tell you what they are.
almost 50-50.
Let me just tell you, because I'm sure you'd be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so white crowned sparrow, common yellow throat, Thayer's gull, American green heron, chimney swift, 3 of them, Canada warbler, hermit thrush, North American herring gull, scarlet tanager, little blue heron, house crow, myrtle warbler, Stanager stone scoter, semi-palmated plover, Wilson's warbler, royal tern, common nighthawk, and northern harrier. My dips have been myrtle warbler, Thayer's gull, Vega gull, cedar waxwing, American redstart, Philadelphia vireo, 2 eastern mockingbirds, American eider, and American black-tern.
2 mockingbirds.
No, not mockingbirds. What are they called? Eastern
Kingbirds.
Eastern kingbird.
kingbirds. Please edit that out.
We did 2 of those ourselves, Gary. We'll not hold it against you.
I think you have 10 birds on me in Ireland. I think.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 500 in England.
Yeah. Might close the Irish gap, but I'm not sure you get the English one with Lusky. That's crazy. That's an impressive some impressive words there, I must say. I suppose that's kind of Brian and I finished with our easy questions, Gary. The man at the back there has been quietly stewing throughout the chat. He's ready to fire off the big questions. You ready, Peter?
Yeah, I'm all ready. Yeah.
Ready, Gary? More importantly,
Yeah.
you're ready. You're ready. Okay, cool. Go, Peter.
Gary, what Twitch has gotten you into the most trouble?
Oh God. Okay. 16th December 2003. I rang a boss at the time. I wasn't feeling very well, and I wasn't well, and then 10 minutes later, the pager goes off, and there was a Baltimore Oriole in Oxfordshire, and I thought, oh crikey, I'm not well enough to go for that. And then an American robin was found in Cornwall, and I thought, crikey, I'll get both of those birds the same day. I've got a day sick here, I rang the boss up in the morning that I'm not very well, and it's genuine, I'm not well. Well, I thought, I'm well enough to drive. So I drove to, I can't remember which way I've done it now. I can't remember if I went to Oxfordshire first and then to Cornwall. But anyway, I got bad views of the American robin. Sorry, bad views of the Northern Oriole. And I got good views of the American robin. And then I went back a few days later I went back for the Baltimore Oriole. It was only in Oxfordshire, so it was only like a 2-hour drive. I bumped into a few people that day in Cornwall, and I stupidly told a few people that I was sick, and should never have done that, because somebody rang my boss up and said, it was so nice to see Gary. It was so nice to see Gary in Cornwall. I haven't seen him for ages, and there's 2 people that could have been that grasped me up, and I got a written warning over it.
Yeah.
So it's quite nasty, because I didn't sort of go for the birds until I was sick. I was actually sick. I was sick, but I thought, because I'm so obsessed about birds, I've got a chance of getting 2 good birds here. So I went for them, and someone dropped me in the shit.
Jesus.
So that wasn't good.
Yeah, that's lousy, Gary. That is lousy.
Yeah.
That's the very definition of a hater, in my opinion.
That's ridiculous. Imagine doing that. Like, why?
Yeah, it is. Oh, look, you could write a book.
That's pure spite. Like,
you could write a book about the spite and the hatefulness of borders. There's some very fucking petty people out there, but we leave nothing. We leave the rest of that unsaid.
Get it all off your chest, John. Come on.
I'll follow that with an even more difficult question. Gary, you're a family man. Twitching birds at a moment's notice can often cause conflict, even in the best of relationships. How do you strike a balance between twitching birds and having a happy home?
Peter, did you write that question? Was it Dr. Phil? What the fuck's going on there?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you've got to have a partner that understands your hobby, and they got to be an easygoing sort of person. You're kind of one of these sort of women that basically, you know, they know you're going to let them down a lot. So you're basically someone that's going to be tolerant towards your hobby. So that's number one. Get a flexible partner. You've also got to get a flexible boss as well. You've got to tell your boss about your hobby. They've got to understand your hobby. They've got to understand what motivates you to see these birds. So you know you got to buy them things. You know, buy them a bottle of whiskey. You know, find out what the tipple is. They do you a big favour. You got to reward them. You know, give them a box of chocolates. It doesn't matter what it cost. You know, they're letting you see a bird that you wouldn't get normally. So it's pretty important. Autumn, you know, you don't see your friends in autumn. You know, there's absolutely no point because you're just going to be.
You're going to let them down.
I remember once we had friends coming around for dinner, and that Pacific Swift turned up. And I said to Kim, "Look, I'm going to have to go for this Pacific Swift." She said, "No, you can't. Dave and Lucy be a shot." I said, "No, well, I'm going to go." I said, "I've got to see this bird because it'd be terrible." So I went to see the Pacific Swift. I only watched it for like half an hour, and then I rushed back again. It was in Suffolk somewhere. But I got back, and then my friends were being sarcastic, clapping and saying, "Oh, well done, Gary, for turning up." But they don't really understand it. So with our friends, we don't generally see them spring and autumn. There are the 2 points of the year where it's not worth doing it. But there's no point us booking up for meals and this sort of stuff, and concerts and football matches, because it's all gonna basically. You know, the main hobby is twitching, and at the end of the day, that's what my passion is. You just got to increase your chances by cutting out things that get in the way. But you know, you also, you know, you've got to be a good father. You've got to be a good husband. So if the girls want anything, let them have it. Doesn't really matter what it costs. If they want a new car, let them have a new car. There's honestly, Brian, there's no point being mean with your money because you're going to spend a fortune on this hobby if you get into it. You know, you've got to give them what they want. If my daughter wants an iPhone 12, is it Pro? She gets it. You know, she'll get that phone. I'm not a rich man, but I only spend money on my hobbies, really, and the family, the house, the family, and my hobbies. So,
out of interest, the bit that sparked my interest there was the boss. How do you sort that out? Like,
well, my boss is a fan. I had a long-term job at Colas. I was there for 13 years. I got made redundant. My boss was a female, and yeah, I bought her things. You know, I bought a chocolate. So you got it.
Lingerie.
Steady. But my current boss, you know, he's obsessed with flying. And cricket. He likes rugby. You know, and these people are important to you. You know, you need to have them on your side. You need to basically do what they want because you're going to need them. You're going to need them to cover for you. I know now that if a bird turns up tonight, I've just got to send him a text. I won't be at work tomorrow. Whether I'm actually working from home at the moment, but if I was actually going to be in the office, it'd be the same sort of situation. They're covered for me. They all know about it. You tell everybody your hobby. You know, the big boss at work knows all about me. They you know, everybody knows me. They know my hobby. They know my passion. They all find it interesting. They want to hear about the twitches and what I've been up to. So you know, you don't hide it from these people. But you know, you don't get a job where you can't get flexibility because it's just gonna punish you at the end of the day. So I am stuck because the first 5 days of the month I'm busy with the month end. So I do miss birds. Those 10 birds I've missed in the last 10 years, you know, I've generally been the first 5 days of the month. But if one of those 5 days is a weekend, I've got the weekend chance of getting it. So if the first is on a Monday and the 5th is on a Friday, you know, I've got to hope that bird stays to the Saturday.
Yeah.
Or you know, I'm not
the Friday night curse.
Yeah. But you know what I would also do though, I'd actually spend if I know there's a bird in the country I need, I will work close to 16, 17 hours a day to get that work done that needs to get done. You know, I always go, I'll just work. You know, I'll just work and sleep, get the work done and go. Then go and see the bird, you know. Because that's all I'm thinking about the whole time when that work's got to be done. I'm not doing a particularly good job because my mind's elsewhere. I'm thinking, oh great, another load of people have seen it, you know. And luckily, a lot of these birds that I can't get to are not on the mainland, because if it's a mainland bird and I haven't seen it, you're going to get 500 people the first day, and you're going to be absolutely gutted. On one of these little islands somewhere, only 50 people go on the first day, and maybe another 20 on the second day, and so, you know, you're only talking about 100 people going to get the bird in 3 or 4 days. So it's very painful. If it's a bird on the mainland, I couldn't go for it. You know, a bird that could cost me 60 quid to go to Cornwall for, and if it's there Monday to Friday and I can't go for it, it's just going to demoralise me.
Absolutely, yeah.
So basically, you've got to put the hobby in perspective. You just got to enjoy what you can get. You know.
Yeah. Excellent.
Get them, let them go.
I've 2 more questions for you. You've had a long relationship with Lee Evans. What's your favourite memories of twitching with Lee?
The Azorian goal. No.
Well, I know Lee very, very well, and you know, I don't go around with him these days, but you know, good memories with Lee. Lee's all right when he's in a good mood. If he's in a good mood, he's great fun. If you go for a bird and it's there and it's showing well, when he gets a picture of his camera, and you know, everything goes well. So I must have done, I don't know, 30 twitches with Lee. I went to Israel with him for a week for 10 days as well, which was a bit of an eye opener. But he's got a lovely partner, Carmel. He's a great birder. You know, he's got great eyesight. He can see birds better than me. He's very helpful. If there's a rare bird, he'll generally get on it, and you've only got to look into his scope and bang, you know, you've seen the bird. But I've seen so many birds with him. God, it's you know, I don't even know where to start. The guy's got me motivated. You know, he's probably responsible for getting me as keen as I am, because that guy is just he's a year listing machine. You know, he gets 300 birds every single year. He knows everybody in Britain. He rings them all up. He gets the gen, what's showing, what's not showing, who's a duffer, who's a good birder. You know, he just knows what to go for, and he was very, very useful in my early days. You know, he's upset a lot of people. You know, he's upset a lot of people in Britain, and I don't really want to be the guy that people don't like. You know, I want to be liked by people. It'd be awful to look at Twitch and think, oh, it's Bagnell there. You know, he's an arsehole. I don't want to have that label. I want people to like me. You know, I'm not competitive. I'm not one of these top listers that has to see every single bird. You know, I try to see every bird, but if I don't get them, it's not going to be a real major issue to me. I'll move on with it in life. But some people are so obsessed about getting that bird. So, you know, I'm very thankful for Lee, you know, for all the twitches I've done with the guy. But my car load is a lot more stress-free now. You know, we actually have good fun going for birds. You know, we're not worried about who's going for it and who's flushed it and who's done this and who's done that. We just go and see it. If we see it, we see it. Great. If we don't, we just come home again, or we stay up there trying to get it. So bird watching to me is much more fun now.
Okay, very good. And last question for you. What advice would you give to young aspiring twitchers?
Advice? I think you've got to, you know, our hobby is dependent on the finder. You know, the finder needs the praise. So twitchers are just, you know, are a group of people that go and see the bird, and we all pat each other on the back and have a good time. But it's the finders are the main people here. They're the guys that sort of need the plaudits. So they're the ones that have done well. So always respect the finders. You should go for your bird. If a bird's a first for Britain or a second for Britain, they are your priorities. All the rest of the stuff you'll see in your lifetime. You know, you haven't got to worry about it. If you're a youngster like Brian, he'll get all these chances again. You know, he's got to get his first and seconds, because you never know when the third time the bird's going to turn up. You've also got to, if you do a dip and you're down about, you've got to try to find the positive. You actually went for it. It's better than sitting on your arse. You might not have sold the bird, but you just got to turn that into a positive, because they eat away at your dips, do. And you know that's what you got to be positive about. But you need to get a flexible job. You know, that's the number one. If you don't got a flexible job, you're going to basically be a very miserable person if you're trying to get birds in on your list. You know, you've got to be flexible to go and see those birds, and you know you need a good set of friends as well around you. You want people that
I need that. I actually need a good set of friends. Not these dunces.
Brian, that joke would only have worked if we had considered you a friend, but okay.
you need people with the same sort of lister as you as well. Because if you've got somebody that's a low lister that needs everything under the sun, you know, they could cost you a bird that you need. You could be going to one of these islands off island to go and see something quite common, and you've missed your main bird. So you're best hanging around with people that have got the same sort of list as you. I take John Lees everywhere with me, because I think I've got 15, 16 birds more than him. But generally speaking, everything he needs, I need. Yeah. So it makes sense to have John as. If I took a youngster with me that needs everything under the sun, you know, this trip to Scotland might also involve a trip to Ireland, a trip to Wales, and a trip to Cornwall, because they need all these other birds I don't need. So
is John Lees the chap that was with you in the Twitching show?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's an absolute gentleman. He's a lovely guy. He's
that's how
he's an absolutely crap birder, but it doesn't matter. I like him as a friend, you know, and he makes me laugh. He keeps me alive on these twitches, you know. He chats to me he doesn't stop talking. I drink Red Bull, I have lattes, and I have him chatting about whatever he's chatting about, and you know, we get there safely to the boat, to the plane, to the bird, whatever. You know, we get there safely, and I do appreciate John's. You know, John's in his 70s. I think he's 75 now, and this autumn I've done a lot of twitching without him, and it was a bit of a shame because I've missed his company. Mm. He was on the sillies when I was twitching all these things up in Scotland, you know. So, but yeah, he's saw a lot of birds with me this autumn. So I've had like 7 ticks this autumn. So it's been like
wow,
been an amazing autumn.
Nice. I'm surprised, Peter. You've one more question, haven't you?
No, that's it.
That's you.
Well, tell us about the.
Hold on. 1 second. Garry, how did we get to this stage in the show without asking about Twitchers? How did that? How did we get? we haven't mentioned. Like, how did that happen? Like, I'm actually shocked at that. Garry, tell us about the experience of being on that show. Tell us what you thought about it.
Well, enjoy it. I got that T-shirt made up for the program, because I was only like a few birds short, 500, when that was being televised in 2008, 2009. It was the year my mum died. My mum never saw the program, sadly. Yeah, she missed it. But she would love to have watched it, because it was a great 1 hour documentary, and you know, we went to see that sandhill crane in Orkney. We went to see a cedar waxwing in your country. I think it was an Eastern Crown Warbler, first of Britain, turned up in
Durham, was it?
Yeah, a Zorin yellow gull, which was a bit of fun for Lee because he still didn't see it. Yeah, that was good for the. It was great, you know. Walking around with a camera crew. Well, there was only one lady. It was Lucy Vogel was in the filming, and she was a lovely lady, and she was so kind and nice and professional, and I really, really enjoyed it. You know, it was a good experience for me, and you know, would I do another program on TV? Probably would do, but I wouldn't be that exciting these days because I don't need many birds, and they would, you know, them days I was needing quite a lot of birds. So I was just approaching the 500 mark, but yeah, it was a good experience, and the BBC paid for a few of the birds as well. So, you know, it was nice. It was nice to get something for your license fee. You know, get a few birds for nothing.
That's amazing. Sounds amazing. Go, Matluski. What did you want to ask? You seem to have a question you wanted to throw in there. Go. Is it?
Yeah, tell us what
one
happened at the House Pro with the top.
Okay, so
Drum roll.
I was on 499 birds. I was doing a UK funded list at the time, and House Pro turned up in Cove in which county is it in? It's in
County Cork.
Cork, is it? Yeah, Cork.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I went for it. Obviously the house crow is just going to be there. It's not going to be a problem, is it? It's going to be there for ages. So I got a T-shirt printed. It was actually on the TV program. I wore it, and I think Phil Davis. I said, Phil, come on, let's take a picture of me. He said, no way, no chance. I'm not going to be in the picture. So me and Evans took a picture. Me and Evans had a picture of my 500 birds, and so I done that. But you know, Britain, it's not Britain. This T-shirt was done in a rushery for the TV program. I didn't know where the bird would be. It should have been Britain and Ireland. Obviously, that's what my list is. But you know, I just wanted to sort of do something as a milestone bird, you know. And I think my 500th bird in Britain and Ireland, BOU bird, I think it was lanceolated warbler, which is quite fitting.
Brilliant.
So you can only get them in Shetland. So that was a nice bird to get as a 500 bird. But UK 500 bird was house crow, and glad I saw the house crow. I know we can't tick it, but you know, one day maybe we can. And I think things can change in this hobby.
Because I remember it's I support Arsenal, and I remember you said, I think it was you or somebody else said at the time, it was you were trying to be like Ian Wright when he scored the 179th Arsenal goal when he took his jersey off and it just said 179.
Well, yeah, that's right. At the end of the day, Tim Lawrence, I remember I could see his name in italics, 497 in italics on League. He's dead, you know.
Yeah.
3 birds short. And I thought, so it's a big relief, Brian. You never know when you're going to die. I know it's gloomy, but you never know. So you just got to keep going, getting those birds, get those landmarks out of the way, and then you can enjoy the next bird. So I was glad to get the 500. I was on 5. What am I now? 544, 545. I'm on now. I'm only 5 from 550. So it'd be nice to get another 5 birds a couple of years away, and then try to get to the 600, which is like a long time.
Will there be a T-shirt for 550?
Say again?
Will there be a T-shirt for 550?
Well, yeah, I think it'd be another T-shirt. It'd be a different colour to that one. But I also want to write a book about these. I've been saying it forever that I'm going to write a book. So I want to write a book about, you know, the experiences this hobby's given me. You know, I don't think any of the books will sell, but it doesn't matter. It's just getting those memories off my chest into a print, and then I can put it on the bookshelf and say, yeah, that was my book. You know, it's off your bucket list. It'd be nice to actually write down. So I've had some, you know, you can imagine seeing 500 bloody birds. You know, you've had so many experiences. There's been some real highs and lows in that adventure, and that's the whole great thing about this hobby. It's the highs and the lows, and it's expressing those highs and lows in writing. It's great fun. You know, when things all go wrong, it's sad and you feel really down. But when you get that bird back again, you know, you get some colourful emotions in your mind, and I think it's good to sort of explain that to people of how you feel. So it's a great hobby, Brian. I think, you know, you just got to keep going for them. Keep going for those birds and enjoying the experience. No one else, your friends don't understand your hobby. That's you know, you can understand. Not much you can do about that. But you know, I've enjoyed the last 20 years of twitching. I really have, and I'm glad I've gone for everything and got all those birds. And you know, I'm sitting happy now that I haven't got to keep twitching everything under the sun that turns up now. But when one bird turns up you do need, and you've got to make an effort for it, then you know, then you go for it. Yeah,
I'd like to get to that stage where I only have like 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah, you do. 'Cause how old are you now?
They're 22.
22. When you're 30, you probably have a girlfriend, children,
Too early. No.
mortgage. Your whole life will change, and then you might not be able to go and get the birds. So get your list big while you can.
Yeah, I think 400 by 30. I think is doable. So.
Well, that'd be nice. That'd be. Do they still do the rankings in Ireland of who's seen what?
No, but I think I know them, but I don't think it's.
It's not published.
It's not. Yeah, it's not published at all. No.
No.
We should start publishing it.
Yeah, actually, no. Just mentioning that, the lads know I'm absolutely addicted to the website Boobo, and I see you've tweeted a couple of times about it, and I always think it's a shame that the Irish lads don't put their lists up, but like some do and some don't, but a lot of the higher listers don't. It'd be nice to be able to see their lists and just compare and things like that,
but I'd say that's the very reason they don't want it up, Brian. Like,
probably, yeah.
That's the very reason. I think it's a good site. It is definitely a good website.
Boobo's brilliant. And if you want to see what birds, your most commonest birds that you need, there's a filter on there and it tells you all the birds that other people have seen you haven't seen.
Yeah.
It's a shame people don't actually fill it all in. I think I'm in the top 15 or something on the British and Irish rankings, but in reality, I'm in the top 50. So there's like 35 people that haven't put their list on there above me, but they probably never will put their list on there. They're not into the numbers game, The people that are into the numbers game are on Boobo. So and some people don't want to sort of show their hand of exactly what birds they've seen because they might be sort of ridiculed for a Tennessee warbler or whatever it happens to be. But at the end of the day, I've got a clean list. Some birds I've seen really, really well. Some birds I've seen, only less than a handful poorly. But everybody's going to get some poor views in their life, and you just got to deal with that. You can say, right, I'm not going to tick the Tennessee warbler, but you did. You saw it because other people ticked it from the view that you saw, and then you think, well, sod it, I'll have it, and I go for another one. I'll see another Tennessee warbler, and I will strike that bird off my list because I want my list to be all good views, really. So there isn't many other birds that I've seen poorly. The blue-cheeked beetle I saw in Kent. I saw it through heat haze for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then when I got to where it was sitting, it actually went flying around, and I got through the scope and I saw it, and it just migrated that day. It wasn't a brilliant view. I'd love to have seen it. A blue-cheeked beetle showing really well, but I saw it for in total, I don't know, for 3 or 4 minutes. I have to put up with that. Some of it was heat haze, some of it wasn't heat haze, but it was always getting further and further away. It's a miracle to connect with birds that are migrating. So we just got to sort of appreciate whatever we do get, and don't beat ourselves up about not getting the superb view. But what I would say to people now is that keep fit, because you never know when that bird's going to fly off. So as soon as you get to that site, run for the bird, go and see it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the guy in the wheelchair to get there, or the guy that's got the walking stick. Just bloody go and run and see the bird.
Peter getting his B-roll.
Go and see it, and then your heart goes back to normal. Your heart pounds when you get to a site and the bird's there. I'm going bang, 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 and the only way to relieve myself is to go and see it. Once I've seen it, I wonder if you get into a panic when you get there because you can't see nothing. Everything's so stressful. And then once you close eyes on it and you focus on the bird, think, that's it. Deep breath, and then you can enjoy the bird for the rest of the time. What is the point in actually walking from your car to that bird, like the Eastern Kingbird on the Western Isles? People miss that bird because they weren't fast. If they'd run from their car to the bird, they would have seen it. Some people took their time and missed it. I'm pretty sure. Brett Richards missed it. I think he missed it by just a few seconds.
I met Brett at the Royal Turn when we dipped it as well. He's a lovely man.
Oh yeah, he's one of our top listers. He's absolutely lovely bloke. Totally dedicated to the hobby. So basically, I run quite a lot now. I run 25k a week, and you know, in the old days when that TV program was being made, I wasn't very fit those days. I couldn't have run for the Sandhill Crane from the boat. You know, I just didn't have the energy. But now, I would just sort of, if I had to run for a bird, I could do it. You know, if I had to run 20k to see a bird, I know I could do it. I'd have to sort of wear light clothes, but I could run and see the bird and tick it. You never know where the bird's going to be and how hard it's going to be to see that bird. So,
Gary,
fit.
Gary, I have to interject there. I'm much more willing to mug a local and steal their car than I am to run 20k. Marley, the sacrifice isn't in both those events. I'm going to choose mug the local, steal their car, as opposed to run 25k a week. But that's just me. You do whatever you want to do. And I'd be generous enough to give the lads a lift. So who's really winning here? No, in all seriousness, I have to say I've really, really, really enjoyed talking to you, Gary. And I want to correct something you said there. You said that you were worried that there wouldn't be much of an audience for a book. I can tell you right now, people would read the hell out of a book that you write about your stories and your history of birding.
Absolutely, yeah. I
know I would. I would be thrilled to read it. And one thing that I think the worst thing actually about the birding community is the sheer lack of, I suppose, entertainment out there, or the available, I suppose, just products beyond identification guides that are available out there. That's why I think the Big Year has become such a cult classic, because there are only one or two movies that actually acknowledge the hobby, and the more kind of, I suppose, entertainment propaganda we can get out there, the better, I think. And you being who you are and having the experiences that you have, I'm sure it'd be a thrilling read, and it's one that I hope to see in the future. Lads, I'm gonna ask you, have you any questions for Gary before we do our sign off?
I think that's it.
What would you like to see next, Gary? What's the next bird on the list?
Oh, I think it'd be Nutcracker next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great shout. It's a great shout. We'll watch this space. Gary, thank you so much for coming on. We really, really, really appreciate it. You're an absolute gentleman. And thank you so much for coming on. It's greatly appreciated. Single fan of Two in the Hand out there, we're going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us out. The number of subscribers that we have on YouTube is something that we can kind of leverage to get us access to new material and make more videos for you. So I'm going to urge you to subscribe on the YouTube channel as well, and keep liking and sharing that content. As well as that, your comments are appreciated. Gary, that's one thing you're fantastic at, and we love the engagement because it lets us know if we're doing things right or wrong. I'm going to speak for the lads again. Thanks so much, Gary. Much appreciated.
Thanks,
Gary.
We will see the rest of you in the next one. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Excellent.
Class.